Well, I went and did it. I knew I shouldn't have done it. I did it. There are going to be spoilers in this video. Heads up, there are going to be spoilers in this video. Yesterday was my birthday, and I got my work done. We were just chilling, trying to figure out something to do, and there's really nothing to do. I'm filming this super early because my flight out is actually super early, so I have to do a ton of work, and I figured, you know what, we've only got a couple hours. We can go to the mall, and there it was. Captain Marvel. And I said, you know what? Whatever, man. I don't like. I know it's going to be political. I know a lot of people are trying to claim it isn't. There are a lot of people claiming the movie was good. Full stop. The movie was really, really bad. The movie is really, really bad. And anybody who's saying otherwise, in my opinion, is lying. Now, I'll say this. Anybody who gives you a mixed review, I would trust. I would give it like a 4 out of 10. It does have some good moments. But it's really, really bad. If you're a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you will be upset by this movie, in my opinion. Now, I think there's a lot of people who are probably going to think it's fine, but for those that have seen it or didn't, we're going to get into spoilers now. First of all, I'm just going to try and go through the film to the best of my abilities. I didn't write any of this down. I'm just going to talk about all these things I was thinking about. I'm talking with a friend of mine online. Where I'm just like, they're trying to defend it, saying it was okay, it wasn't good, it was whelming, and I'm like, no, dude, it was bad. First, the scenes are jumpy. Like, in the beginning of the movie, she's on a planet called Torfa, and then she gets kidnapped. They're reading her memories. She wakes up, and then all of a sudden they're in Earth orbit. I didn't understand how that happened, but when this happened, I said, you know what, maybe when they were probing her memory, they were traveling to Earth because they were looking at her memories of Earth, so they decided to go, and the memory scene was stretched out or something. All I know is you hear Talos talking. He's the villain, technically, the Skrull, and then she wakes up, breaks out, and when she escapes the ship, she falls to Earth. But they were just on like she just got kidnapped on Tarfa. So I get it. They could maybe they knew. It wasn't really explained well enough to me. But I'll say this: if there are some things where you can fill in the gap yourself, and maybe I missed something, so that's on me. But maybe after they kidnapped her, and they saw in her mind that she was from Earth, they said, "Let's go straight to Earth," or I don't know, because the Skrulls hadn't been to Earth. Like that's another thing. Like they show you in the beginning of the film. She's having a memory of a Skrull shooting at her, and that's not true. It wasn't the Skrulls who went to Earth. It was the Kree who went to Earth, and the Kree are the bad guys. And this is another huge, there are plot holes. There are so many plot holes. First, let's talk about something that is not necessarily a plot hole. After she falls to Earth, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents come. She then, talks to them. There's silly banter. Skrull fires on her. She chases after them, and they're like, what the hell? Because they didn't believe that she was an alien or whatever. And then she escapes. She goes to a bar, and this is like one of the worst things ever. A guy on a motorcycle pulls up and asks her to smile more. I kid you not. I'm like, how are people saying this movie didn't have a bunch of overt politics in it? He pulls up and he looks at her and he goes, hey, baby, why don't you smile more? And I went, oh, God, come on, man. That was so on the nose. I get it. You can make certain points, but that was so on the smile more. And then he goes inside and she steals some clothes and the motorcycle. Somehow, without his keys, she can drive a motorcycle. Sure, fine. Okay, maybe her memories of Earth, she knew how to drive a motorcycle. I don't know how she started the motorcycle or how she stole it. That's fine. It's a movie. It just jumps, and then all of a sudden she's on the motorcycle and it's playing some 90s music. She gets to another bar, because she sees something on like her wrist scanner that has like a bar's name. That was something probed from her memory. Okay, then Nick Fury is doing an alien autopsy on a Skrull. And he says, I got a lead on a stolen motorcycle. I think it's her. Literally the next scene is him in the bar with her. And I'm like, wait, there's no, like, how did he find her? There's no him tracking her. It's just literally, he goes, I'm going to go look for her. And then Ben Mendelsohn is like, go alone because we can't trust anyone. And then it's her in the bar, and she's looking around, like, having memories, and then all of a sudden, like, a bartender walks up and it's like, what can I get you? Then Nick Fury walks in, and he says something, and then she goes, do you have a rough day, Agent Fury? And I'm like, wait, why are they friends? Like, why is she talking to him like she knows him? She literally just met him for 5 minutes and then ran off, and now they're acting like they know each other. And then to make it worse, she's like, how do I know you're not a Skrull? Let's ask you some questions. Dude, you don't know Nick Fury. You can't ask him any questions. He can tell you whatever he wants. Literally made no sense. And I'm like, okay, look, I can forgive these things. It's just bad writing. And so I was really like, ugh. The other thing I noticed really early in the movie is that I think Brie Larson's actually a really good actor. I think so, especially in Captain Marvel. But it was clear that through the editing and directing and writing, first of all, she was miscast. Second of all, they did not use her the way she should have been used. She's like, in my opinion, she was a supporting actress in the movie. I'm not even kidding. It's like so much of the movie is carried by Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn. But let's move on. So now I'm sitting there like, okay, this is kind of like, they're kind of just like, ham-fisting this movie. There's weird scene jumps. I don't understand what's happening. But then it gets worse because, so they go to, they go, okay, oh my God. For some reason, Nick Fury, who doesn't know who this alien woman is who can shoot lasers from her hands, decides to bring her to a secure facility doing experimental research on a lightspeed drive. What? First of all, Nick Fury is like, we don't know why, we don't, I don't know what Pegasus is. It's a secret project, and it's like they're trying to cover it up or something. That's what he says later. Okay, you've got the secret project. They're trying to cover it up. Somebody died. Yet when she says, "What's Pegasus?" he goes, "Let's go." And he gets in a car with her, and they drive to a secure facility where he gets in with a random woman he met from outer space that he just met 5 minutes ago. Why is he bringing her to a secure SHIELD facility or something? Or not a SHIELD facility, it's a government facility. It was joint USAF and NASA. First of all, why did they just let Fury in because he was with SHIELD? It's not like the FBI can walk into the CIA. I'm sure there's a professional courtesy, but it's kind of weird. And then also, why would he bring this random woman he just met shooting lasers okay, fine. Maybe it's because he saw a Skrull and was like, oh, I better do what she says. And she brought him to the facility. Sure, okay, maybe. Bad writing, not impossible. Then they get detained for some reason. I have no idea why they get detained. I literally have no idea why. He shows him his badge. The guy looks at it and then locks him in a room. I'm like, I don't understand. Why would they let him into the facility with his thumbprint, and then when he shows the ID, they detain him? Now some people are probably going to say, oh, but because Talos was impersonating SHIELD. Right, but Fury didn't call in for backup to SHIELD until after they were already detained, and it wasn't a SHIELD facility. Why did they detain them? It made no sense. So then Fury does the stupid tape thing, he escapes. They start looking through records, and then Carol Veers, her name is, finds a photo of herself, and she goes, oh! And then Nick Fury finds Mar-Vell, Annette Bening. He finds writing from her project. She was building a lightspeed drive, which makes no sense because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they use jumping. What is it called? Jump points. And they can jump from between galaxies. Why would you need a lightspeed drive? Jumping between it made no sense. So anyway, it's like whoever wrote this movie doesn't know anything about the MCU. So okay. Then Fury is like looking at this weird squiggles, and he goes, "Look, she was crazy." And Danvers goes, she goes, "Whoa, no, she's Kree." But then the Skrulls come. It's like, oh no. And then Ben Mendelsohn starts beating up Nick Fury, and I'm like, oh, Talos is a bad guy. They run into a hangar, and then they see a plane, and then Talos, they start shooting at him, and all the Skrees are like, they're shooting at him disguised as SHIELD agents. Or I think it's actual SHIELD agents, and Talos, the Skrull, is pretending to be the boss of SHIELD. So they fly away, and they decide to go to Maria Rambeau's house. That's her old friend. And I'm like, sure, okay, at this point I have no idea why anything's happening, who is what. There's no backstory. Captain Marvel has no memories. But whatever, it's just like boop, 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 like jump. Okay, you're really forcing us through this one. And then all of a sudden, Talos shows up. Okay, hold on. He was literally just trying to kill you. He just beat the crap out of Nick Fury, was standing over him, like presumably about to kill him or something. And then now here he is at Maria's house in a Skrull form, and he's like, please, I need your help. I've discovered who you are. And it's like, wait, hold on. When did you discover who she was? When you probed her memories? You probed her memories at the beginning of the movie. If you knew who she was then, why would you try and beat up Nick Fury and her? Like, why wouldn't you just be like, I don't understand why you would. Okay, if they knew who she was and he knew Nick Fury was working with her, why didn't he just be like, listen, I need to talk to you. Like, we need to have a serious conversation. I can explain what's going on. Made no sense. Okay, this is going along. So then all of a sudden she decides to randomly just team up with the Skrulls. The people, the sworn enemy that she has murdered mercilessly for 6 years, all of a sudden she's like, you know what, I'm going to believe their general for no reason. Because maybe she saw a photo of herself. I have no idea. It just, okay, here's the thing. The other Kree apparently know the Skrulls are refugees, and they try to do this like, oh my god. The reason I'll give it a 4 is because there really was this cool scene where you find out Talos is not looking for a light speed drive. He's looking for something else. And you're like, oh, it's heartwarming. But why? Okay, I don't know how Captain Marvel lost her memory. I don't. They don't explain it. She gets hit by an explosion. For some reason, it gives her powers. They don't explain that either because Yon-Rogg was literally by the explosion too, and he didn't get hit by it, I guess. Whatever, maybe the blast went one direction. All of it can be explained, but by me, not by the movie. And then she loses her memory. In the trailers, there's so much in the trailers that aren't in the movie. In the trailers, you can see a blood infusion going into her. Wasn't in the movie. In the trailers, you hear a bunch of like, this isn't a game for little girls and like things like that. That wasn't in the movie either, although there was some stuff like that in the movie, which just made no sense because it was in the end of the movie, and I have no idea why you're giving me the backstory of the character at the end of the movie. Oh my god, this was so poorly written. First of all, one of the problems was that the movie starts in the middle. It starts with you, like you're on Hala, the Kree homeworld, and she's like, I don't have any memories, and it's like, okay, we're not playing Memento here, man. You know, like Memento is the movie that goes backwards. Not gonna work. I don't even know why I pulled this article. I thought I was gonna read this article, but I'm ranting now. So anyway, you learn her backstory throughout the movie, but that means you literally have no idea who she is, what her motivations are, and there are no stakes. She is not concerned about anything until you figure out the Skrulls are refugees. In the beginning, they talk about how the Skrulls are an invasive force that infect other planets and start invading them. And you're like, okay, that sounds like Skrulls. And then it turns out they're refugees who are fleeing and living as refugees on other planets. Sure, why didn't she know that? It's not like the United States doesn't know who they're bombing. Sure, like the U.S. lies about it. I don't want to say we because I hate that they do it. The U.S. lies about it. But we know what the U.S. is doing. When Obama claimed that combat-age men were enemy combatants. Okay, anyway, I don't want to get into politics. In Captain Marvel, the Star Force, of which Veers, Carol Danvers, is a member, they all apparently know that they're trying to exterminate the Skrulls because the Skrulls refuse to submit to the Kree Empire. But she doesn't. Why? Like, no, seriously, why? Why wouldn't they just tell her? Why? None of it makes sense. So, I don't understand the motivations, and so closer to the, so I'll say this. In the beginning of the movie, I was actually really, really bored. There's a scene where she's fighting on a spaceship, and then it just starts playing I'm Just a Girl by No Doubt, and I'm like, oh my god. And look, here's what I thought it was going to be when I heard this was true. I thought it was going to be something like she punches someone, they fly back, hit a jukebox, and then you see like it scrolls down and plays Just a Girl, and you go, it's funny. No, it was literally the movie soundtrack. Like they're on a spaceship. There's nothing. All of a sudden, it just starts playing, and I was like, "Wait, unless I missed something." I'm like, Are they really playing "I'm Just a Girl"? There is a lot of like feministy tropes about like, just it's little things. It's not overt in some capacities, but playing Just a Girl, the smile more. There are a few things that are so overt, and the cat, totally useless. Now. I'm gonna wrap up. I don't want to go too long. Near the end, all of a sudden she goes Super Saiyan. I kid you not. She literally goes Super Saiyan. She's got energy bursting off of her hair, stands up on end, and it's glowing. And I'm like, that's Goku. And then she flies like a Super Saiyan, and she shoots energy blasts like a Super Saiyan. Actually, that was kind of cool. I thought it was cool when she used her powers. There was there's a space fight where she's got her full powered, and it's pretty cool. But it really doesn't make sense. The character, Carol Danvers, has no flaws, and she has no stakes. She isn't trying to do anything other than, like, I don't even know what her motivations are. She wants to kill the Skrulls, and then she doesn't. I don't know why. I don't know why she trusts them. They're her sworn enemy, but all of a sudden now she does. And now she's got powers, and she's flying around, and now she hates her friends. I don't get it. Made no sense. She rediscovers her memories on Earth. She remembers that Yon-Rogg, the Kree, actually kidnapped her. And then, so that made sense. And then she fights back, but then all of a sudden she's just like God tier. It's like at first she can shoot blasts. Now she's like exploding with energy and doing like a supernova. And then the accusers come like Ronan, and he's like, we'll come back for her. Okay, now a few more things I want to wrap up. They, at the end of the movie, in one of the right at the end, Nick Fury is he's typing on an old '90s computer, the Protectors Initiative, and then he looks at a photo of Carol Danvers, and it says Captain Carol, quote, Avenger Danvers, and he smiles, and then he changed Protector to Avengers, and I was like, no, Captain America is the first Avenger. Captain America was the first Avenger. The movie's literally called The First Avenger. No, I guess you could say Captain America wasn't called an Avenger by S.H.I.E.L.D. back then, or Howard Stark or whoever, but the point was he was the first Avenger. To go back and make it seem like the name Avenger came from Carol Danvers in the 90s is a shoehorn. The whole thing was shoehorned in. There's an end credit scene where the core Avengers team meets Carol Danvers, and I was just like, this is so plastic. And I was really mad to see Captain America, Scarlett Johansson, Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo, and Rhodey, and they're like looking at the beeper and it stops, and they're like, why did it stop? And then they're like, we need to figure out who was sending a message to, and she turns around, and there it is, Captain Marvel, and she goes, where's Fury? And I was like, oh my God, she was so miscast. Scarlett Johansson's incredible. Gal Gadot is incredible. Jennifer Lawrence is incredible. But Brie Larson was not made for this role. And I'm not trying to be a dick. She really wasn't. She's frail, squeaky, and she doesn't have an aura. She doesn't have a presence. She was a supporting actor at best. And now for the worst part. There's two, actually, hold on. At the post-credit scene, Nick Fury, the cat, the Flerken or whatever, it's not really a cat, horks up the Tesseract. And I said, that's great and all, but where's the Flerken in the next movie? In Avengers 1, Nick Fury said, we started building weapons of mass destruction with the Tesseract because of Thor. He says, because of you, we learned that we were hopelessly and hilariously outgunned. And then when I asked my friends about it, they said, don't you know, Nick Fury's lying. He's trying to trick them. I said, no, come on. You don't get to make an explanation for why there's a continuity error or a retcon in the series, okay? I get it. You can try to justify the bad writing. Fine. But the reality is, they retconned the film, they retconned the MCU, and Nick Fury knew about aliens all along. He lost his eye to getting scratched by a cat, and that scene made no sense, and it didn't even belong in the movie. They win, the movie's over, and then all of a sudden it shows Nick Fury holding a cat up, and the cat scratches him, and he goes, ah! Like that, literally, it was like 5 seconds, and I was like, what? And then from then on, he's got a scratch on his eye, and I was like, seriously? They literally, it's like they filmed it later or something. Now here's the worst part. Now, if you've made it this far, this next one is going to absolutely ruin the MCU for you forever. Brie Larson, she's captured again by the Kree at a certain point, and they hook her up to the Supreme Intelligence. The Supreme Intelligence goes into her mind. The Supreme Intelligence takes the form of a certain character, and apparently they made Mar-Vell a woman, which whatever, I don't care. But in her mind, there's a record player, and it's playing the song Come As You Are by Nirvana, except Come As You Are by Nirvana debuted in 1992, and Carol Danvers was kidnapped in 1989. There was no way she would have a memory of that song. Movie literally unwatchable. I'm actually kidding about that last part. It's true. I thought it was funny when they played Come As You Are, and I was like, how does she know that song in her mind when it came out 3 years after she was abducted? I don't know. I don't think that I'm totally kidding. It was silly. I thought it was funny. I'm not really that worried about a continuity error. There are a lot of plot holes that I didn't get into. Some are kind of contrived. There's a few plot holes. Some are contrivances. So early in the movie, this is my last point, because there's a lot more I didn't get to. Look, it's been 20 minutes. She has a communicator on her wrist. It's not working, and she goes to a payphone. And then she uses the payphone and she breaks into a Radio Shack to make a phone call to Jan Rog, which makes no sense. Whatever, like the American telecom lines in the 90s, they're not wireless systems. They don't broadcast anywhere. I don't know who she called to get the signal out or why she was using a payphone. Literally made no sense, because anything that would have been in the phone for a microphone would have been in the Radio Shack. And then when she's talking to Jan Rog, it goes, please deposit 50 cents. And I'm like, how did she get an external intergalactic blast off? Literally makes no sense, because whatever. Sci-fi fantasy, you made something up. Sure, magic technology. Later in the movie, though, Jan Rog opens his hand and things come out and he goes, send in the accusers. And then later in the movie, Carol Danvers does the same thing, opens her hand, things come out, and then she uses it to track a spaceship. And I'm like, okay, this might not be the worst plot hole in the movie, but I'm gonna have to question the thinness of this. She like opened her hand and these things come up to her fingers and it projects something and she uses it like a computer. And she used it to track coordinates. So was it an internal database that already knew the spaceship was there? Or was the broadcasting function, you know what, I get it, fine. It's a magic movie with magic powers and nothing makes sense. But I thought her thing was broken. I guess it wasn't. Jan Rog was able to use it to communicate. She wasn't. Maybe he had different technology. The point is, I felt there were a few things where I was like, wait a minute, why did he do that? She did that. It's not necessarily the worst plot hole. There are some where like the plot just jumps ahead and it makes no sense. Fine. But my ultimate problem with it is, why do I have to explain the faults in the movie? Why do I have to justify how she's able to like basically teleport 2 galaxies or something? I shouldn't have to explain that. I shouldn't have to go, oh, it's because Nick Fury is a liar and then the Flerken died later. No, they retconned it, dude. And that's plain and simple. She was a shoehorned character and it feels so obvious. My God. When I saw the Avengers team in the end credits and they're like looking at the pager and then they turn around and she's there, I was like, wow. It really felt like they took this great thing they built, the MCU, and it's like this jigsaw puzzle. And they took a random jigsaw piece from a different puzzle, placed it there, and just tried mashing it with a hammer. I'm done. More videos coming up later. I'll have a video up at 1 p.m. Thanks for hanging out. I knew I shouldn't have gone to see that movie.